Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Please do me a favor, like and subscribe.
Someone stands in a position of truth and many people get attacked, like you and I get attacked.
We're attacked every day.
Every day.
And we must be doing something right.
That's right. We must be living in truth. We must be, like a Rosa Parks. And God bless Rosa. I mean, what an amazing woman that she was willing to stand.
I have 4 walls in the bathroom. That gives privacy. When my child begins using those 4 walls to do things that are deceptive, they lose the privilege of privacy. Why? Because they're not concerned about privacy. That is the last thing they're concerned about. They're just trying to hold that word over your head. They're trying to hold you hostage, saying, you need to give me privacy. You need to honor my boundaries. You need to honor my feelings. You don't care about me. This world where there are gangs and there is distortion and there is lust and there are people who want to hurt others, that's not the real world. That is the delusional world. And we have so many people living in the delusional world and so few people living in the truth that it looks like the distorted world is the real world. It looks that way. And the few people who are living in truth, they look like Looney Tunes. Do not throw your hands up in the air and go, oh, well, the real world is distorted. That is a lie. That is a lie. That is a blatant lie. The real world is reality. The real world is full of truth. The real world runs on principles of creation. And when you go into fear, you damn creation. This is what love sounds like. When you see someone hurting, you acknowledge the hurt. If your kid came to you on fire, would you say, I'm so glad you trusted me to tell me you're on fire. But if I put out the fire, that's going to really hurt and you're going to end up with scabs anyway. So I'm just going to love you where you are right now. No, you throw them on the ground and you start rolling them. You get a blanket and you start hitting the flames. And they're going to say, you're hurting me. You're beating me. You're controlling. It's like, no, dear, hold still. I'm getting the fire out. That's what a loving parent does. And because nobody will do it, it looks to the world crazy. And because they've never been loved before, it looks like I'm angry. To them, it looks like I'm controlling. It looks like I'm militant. It looks like I'm a monster. It looks like I'm mean. It looks like I'm full of hate. It looks like I'm not accepting it because they don't know what love looks like or sounds like. Do you know someone who is angry constantly? Maybe it's you. How is anger created? What is it? Anger is coming from a base of dishonesty, irresponsibility, and pride. Somewhere with the person who is angry, somewhere in their life, they are choosing irresponsibility, dishonesty, and pride, or a lack of willing to be humble. Anger comes from living in a place of victim, where I'm not responsible for the things going on around me. Life should be easier. Life should be better to me. I don't deserve any of this. So they're not willing to be vulnerable, and they live in a state of drama where they are blaming things, circumstances, places, and especially people. We know this because anger on the other end is peace, is calm, is connection. And where does that come from? How can I build a life of peace and calm? I want to feel connected. Well, the only way that you can have that is if you're living a base of being honest and responsible and humble. It means I surrender. Worshiping your child will be placing your child's desires over responsibility. It is holding your child's behavioral manifestations as the first priority over principles. So instead of making your decision based on what is the truth, based on what is honest, responsible, and humble, You are basing your parenting decisions on how will the child respond. So you're taking the child's responses and putting that as your number one. That is the worship. The tactics that distortion uses is to change the meaning of words over time so that there's confusion. I remember when Common Core came into the school system, and it was a battle trying to speak with my child around math, a math problem I knew how to do, and yet the language I was using was not being understood by my child because different meanings were placed on those words, and it was divisive. So meanings of words have changed, and this is why it's important to go back to God for the meaning, because God doesn't change.
So there are other things that are going on in the world. There's this woke mentality. Someone just said to me just a few minutes ago, like, you talk so much about being awake, but you don't like to say the word woke.
And I laughed because I'm like, does this person not understand the difference in the meaning of woke and awake? It's like completely opposite. But the person who was saying it thought that they meant the same thing.
Yeah, right.
And it's because this person wasn't extrapolating. They didn't know how to think. They were only thinking concrete.
And they were only thinking about their own meaning, which is the distortion. So if they want to have a conversation with another person, they must stay humble, right? Honest, responsible, and humble. They must stay humble and get curious. Like, what do you mean by awake? And is there a difference between you using the word awake and using the word woke? And I'd say, yes!
One of the tactics that distortion uses.
Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Like, subscribe, and share.